Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to pick what books I'm going to read in August. And I'm actually really excited because I made a pretty good dent in July. I still got a few more days left, but I'm excited to see what books I have to look forward to next month. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so we're back at my TBR shelf. And these are pretty much what books I have to select. There's a few up here that you can't really see, but I don't really think I'll be picking from them too much. Then, of course, here's my TBR jar, color coordinated as usual. And I picked a lot of fantasy in July. So, okay, I'm not gonna lie, a majority of the books on my TBR are fantasy and sci fi. So, I'm probably still going to be choosing a lot of those. But I do have some contemporaries, horrors, and thrillers that I'm looking forward to reading as well. So, hopefully, I can get to some of those. Let's just start picking prompts. I kind of have an idea what books I want to be on here, so hopefully I can get to them. So my first prompt is a book that is set somewhere besides the US. So I don't even live in the US. I think I got this prompt from somebody else, but I mean, it is a good prompt since a lot of the books I do have are probably set in the US. The fantasy books though, like pretty much most of them can be like set outside the US. So there is that. I'm gonna go with Wolf by Ryan Groudon. So the back says that there's a reference to Tokyo, and then the second chapter says something about it taking place in Germany. So I'm gonna run with that. This is probably the most obvious one that doesn't take place in the US, and this has been on my TBR for a really long time. Wolf by Ryan Groudon is about this girl who is a former death camp prisoner, and during the time of World War II, she loses a lot of her loved ones. When the Axis power, this is like an alternate future where the Axis won World War II. This girl goes on this revenge mission to kill Hitler by competing in this race in order to win and be able to meet him one on one and be order to kill in order to kill him. So she has the power to skin shift. So using this power, she impersonates this famous racer so that she can compete. Um, I think I heard about this book from Haley in Bookland a long time ago, and I think it's about time that I at least try and read this and see if it's something I'll enjoy. Okay, shall we make space for my stack? Let's move on to the next one. Simple one. A YA romance. So those are all adult except for Dial L for Loser. This is the only YA romance that I have on my shelf right now, so I guess I'm just gonna have to go with it. So this is like the fourth or fifth book. Wait, one, two, three. This is the sixth book in the Click series by Lissy Harrison. I loved this series when I was in junior high, and I recently, or actually not recently, a couple years ago, I repurchased a lot of them so I could reread the series, and it kind of fell off after the fifth book. Like I was doing pretty good reading all of them until I got to this one, and then I just got tired and never picked it back up. But I mean, I have the rest of the books here, so I should really just decide, am I going to read these or not? So the Click basically follows this group of preteen, or I guess they're all turning 13, so like these preteen girls who are going through junior high, and they're all like rich, popular, pretty, dramatic young girls. This new girl moves to their school, and at first they're enemies, and then slowly they make friends of her. And I guess each story just goes through, or each book just goes through, I guess, what typical preteen girls go through, dealing with making friends and dealing with family and dealing with boys and makeup and hair and all the things that are associated with growing up. You know, this is definitely a coming of age story. Not one that I would recommend to young girls now, that's for sure, because there are a lot of toxic things that happen in this book. A lot of catty, dramatic things. And I don't know if I should have read it back in the day, but I definitely found it entertaining when I was doing my reread earlier. So it is what it is. Okay, the next prompt that I have is read an apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic novel. Okay, the best apocalyptic novel I could find on my list was Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So this book is about the end of humans' time on Earth. So the human race leaves a dying Earth and are on their way to this new terraformed planet that is supposedly Earth 2.0. But when they arrive there, they discover that there's another species that has already started living there, and these two species, humans and the species that are there, are at odds and have to fight to, I guess, fight to see who's going to be the new masters of this new world. I think this book was recommended by Murphy Napier, and I don't know too much about it. It's a pretty thick book. How many pages is this? It's almost 600 pages. I'm a little intimidated, not gonna lie, but I haven't even attempted this book yet. So I guess we'll see how it goes. Oh my gosh, my stack fell. Let's move on. I think I've decided that my add-ons will probably be audiobooks because the struggle I'm having with right now is Scribd is having so many of its books become unavailable to me. When I plan to read it, I'll put like 3 books on my TBR. I'll read one of them and then the other 2, and a whole bunch of other books suddenly become unavailable to me. So that's kind of an issue I've been having with Scribd. And then I have a very limited number of credits on Audible. So I think I've decided that my prompts are mainly going to be for my physical TBR, and then I'll just add audiobooks as an add-on. You didn't need to know that, but I just felt like I should mention it. So this one says, I have to read a nonfiction. I don't really read nonfiction that much. Okay, I have 2 nonfiction here. I only have the 5 love languages and Beyond Beautiful. I'm probably gonna go with the 5 love languages just because I already started this. I'm like on page 56. And I've kind of like, skimmed through this book before, but basically, this nonfiction talks about how each person has different ways of giving and receiving love, like showing love to their loved ones and how they like to be shown love. And the 5 main ways are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So I think I took the quiz. Me and my husband took this quiz to determine what our love languages were a few years ago. Maybe we'll redo it and see if anything has changed. But I do believe in this though. I do believe that if you want to show your loved ones that you care about them, you should probably do it in a language that they prefer, not in the language that you prefer, because everybody's different. So yeah, excited. I should probably get through this one and add it to my actual shelf already. Ooh, okay. This one says my newest addition. Newest addition to my shelf. Oh, yep. Thank goodness. So I just got this in the mail yesterday, and it is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. So this is the 3rd book in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I really enjoyed the first and the second book. So I'm actually pretty confident that I'm going to like this one as well. And Jamie from Jamie's Library said that she really enjoyed this one and it was great. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna love it too. Thank you. Finally, a book I wanted to add to my TBR. I can finally add it. But in case you have never heard of it, so A Good Girl's Guide to Murder follows this teenage girl named Pip, who I only talk about the first book, obviously, because I don't want to spoil the next 2. But in the first book, she decides that for her senior class project, she wants to solve a cold case that happened in her small town years before. Years in the past, there was a 2 teenagers died, and they couldn't figure out what happened. Supposedly, one boy killed the girl and then killed himself, and that is what the whole town has thought for many years, but she has a different theory. She basically becomes Nancy Drew and tries to solve this murder and prove that what everybody has thought for all these years is not true. Another green one? A book of supernatural or paranormal elements. So House of Leaves, I definitely know fits that. I think the push fits that as well. Let's see. No, it's psychological. Either House of Leaves, Imaginary Friend also. I mean, I could also go with Empire the Vampire because, vampire, paranormal. There's Midnight Sun. Oh, I think Ninth House also. Wow, I have a lot of choices. I don't really know what to do. You know what? I'm gonna go with Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. I know this was a green book or a green prompt, but oh well. So Ninth House follows this girl named Alex who had a very troubled upbringing. She got into a lot of trouble with drug dealer boyfriends, dead-end jobs after she drops out of school early. And then something horrific happens and she's involved in a multiple homicide where she's the only survivor. And basically, her life has hit rock bottom until she's offered a chance to go to one of the world's most prestigious universities on a full ride scholarship. The only catch is that she has to monitor, I'm guessing she has to spy on the secret societies of this prestigious university. So I guess this is a version of Yale where it's ruled by eight groups. Eight I keep thinking of like sororities, like eight sororities where they're filled with the rich and powerful, the children of the rich and powerful. So Alex has to basically monitor these very powerful groups of people who go to Yale. And these groups are involved in like the occult, the paranormal, and they do a lot of sinister things like forbidden magic, raising the dead, and preying on the living. I've heard really great things about this, so I'm hoping I enjoy it as well. And it's a fairly recent addition to my TBR. That is a beautiful stack. Okay, 6 books. Maybe I'll do 8. Should I do 8? I don't know. We'll see after my next 2 picks. Okay, I'm just not going to look and I'm just going to pick one. An illustrated book or a book with illustrations in it. I don't think I'm going to finish this book in July, so I'm going to recycle it and put it into my TBR pile for August also. So this is Peter and the Secret of Rondoon by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson. And it's the 3rd book in the Peter and the Starcatcher series, and there are definitely illustrations in here. So definitely fits the prompt, and I have the 3rd and the 4th book on my shelf. I still haven't read it. Okay, I have 7, and that's already looking like a really big pile, so I think I'm just gonna choose one more. Okay, the last prompt that I have is it has to have a name of a person in the title. I have a few options here actually. Peter and the Sword of Mercy, which I already have the 3rd book, so I'm not gonna choose that. I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and Finley Donovan is Killing It. Gotta be one of these two. So I guess it comes down to, do I feel like reading a romance? Or do I feel like continuing on with this mystery? Honestly, because I've already started this, I'm actually on page 79. I should just continue on with Finley Donovan is Killing It. Seriously. All right, guys. And that is it. These are the books that I'm going to be reading in August, probably with a few audiobooks sprinkled in there. I've got Finley. Oh, should I just go over it real quick? So for Set Somewhere Besides the US, I have Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groudon. For a YA romance, I have Dial L for Loser by Lissy Harrison. For read an apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic novel, I have Children of Time by Agent Tchaikovsky. For nonfiction, I have The Five Love Languages. For newest edition, I have As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. For supernatural or paranormal elements, I have Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. For an illustrated book, I have Peter and the Secret of Rondoon by Dave Barry. And lastly, for the name of a person in the title, I have Finley Donovan is Killing It by L. Cosimano. So these are the 8 books that I have set for my TBR. Hopefully I can get through at least the majority of these. I like having choices. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books and which ones did you really enjoy, and hopefully I enjoyed them too. And that's it, guys. These are the 8 books that I'm going to read in August. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.